Good evening, I'm your local weather authority, Chief Meteorologist Chris Yates. The start of the weekend looking quite cloudy with temperatures holding fairly steady into the mid to upper 20s and even low 30s. But we are tracking yet another storm system that'll bring more snow to the area. Not a big deal, but could have an impact on your Sunday morning travel. We'll have that forecast coming up. WYZZ News starts now.
Good evening, I'm Rebecca Brumfield. Thanks for joining us. First tonight, the Massey Commission's final report is now available to the public. It outlines dozens of recommendations for Sangamon County to prevent another tragedy like the killing of Sonia Massey. Our Capitol Bureau Chief Alex Whitney has the details as reactions from the public flood in.
It's been more than a year since Sonia Massey was murdered by Sangamon County Deputy Sean Grayson. That night still weighs heavily on the Massey family.
You know, we were devastated last year and we were in the midst of our mourning then, and now it's really hitting us this year. So it's been pretty tough.
In the midst of her killing, the Massey Commission was formed. It heard from the community, gathered stories, and coalesced that information into a plan. And on Thursday, that plan was finally made available to the public.
This is like a milestone, right? I keep thinking, is this the finish line? But it's really not. It's just a milestone.
The report gives the community and county officials 26 calls to action to address the systemic issues that they claim played a role in Massey's death. It calls on county officials to improve support for mental health services, elevate hiring and training standards for officers, and improve the county's ability to respond to non-law enforcement crisis emergencies. But these recommendations are just the beginning.
You know, we're structuring something new and try to figure out how many recommendations we're going to have for 2026 and 2027 and for years to come. But I think that as long as we're keeping Sonia at the forefront of it all, we'll be just fine.
Sante and members of the commission say the push for change now falls on the public. They say it's not just county officials who should be reading the report. They add everyone should take a look and learn what role they can play in making a lasting change.
And finding out where you fit and which one of those dot points works best for you, because some may be social media, keeping it out in the public. Some may be doing the research. Some may be doing the lobbying. Whatever we need to do, find out where you fit in terms of those recommendations.
A developing story now, nearly 40% of the units at the New Hope apartment complex in downtown Peoria are now being posted as uninhabitable by city officials. So now Peoria council members will consider helping with some of the repair costs at the upcoming meeting. This comes after the building experienced two fires, one happening in October and another one just last week. New Hope Apartments has 84 units total for people in the area who are in need of a place to live. With several units in the fire alarm system damaged from those fires, Peoria's community development director says the building has to have a fire safety watch team now to monitor it 24/7. Red Cross has committed to handling that for the next 2 weeks, which will allow residents to stay in the building for now. At Peoria's next council meeting on Tuesday, members are going to be asked to put as much as $300,000 toward fixing the alarm system, hiring a fire safety team, and helping residents relocate. It would come out of the city's COVID-19 relief money. This would save some of the residents from having to find a new place to live. Around Illinois now, multiple social media posts claimed that there was an active fire in Springfield just yesterday and that several firefighters went to the hospital, but the department says those reports were false. Bryce McCormick was a staff duty officer this week. He says he became aware of the situation when wives of firefighters began calling him asking for updates on their loved ones' conditions. He quickly tracked down his coworkers and found that none of them were hurt. The department now believes the post was created by AI, possibly combining information from unrelated calls.
I immediately started calling our 2 battalion chiefs on duty and said, hey, what do you guys need? What's going on? I hadn't been received any phone calls about any structure fires or any injuries or anything.
Earlier in the week, yet another AI post alerted homeowners about a fire that never existed. Well, more tomorrow. Self-service electronics recycling drop-off for McLean County residents is available starting at 8 a.m. and it goes on until 12 p.m. on December 6th. This is happening at the Town of Normal Public Works. This is in addition to the regular self-service electronics drop-off that is available Monday through Friday. Items you can drop off include computers, monitors, electronic keyboards, TVs, and more. These items do not need to be in working order to be recycled either. Items containing Freon, a chemical, are not allowed, such as mini refrigerators and dehumidifiers. And staying in our Twin Cities, Monday was World AIDS Day, honoring those who had died from AIDS and educating them about the disease. To raise awareness locally, the Prairie Pride Coalition brought 6 quilt panels from the National AIDS Quilt in San Francisco to the Bloomington Public Library for a week-long exhibition. The panels on the quilt each signify someone who has died from the disease, that lived or had a family right here in McLean County. 2025 marks the 40th year since the first person died from AIDS in McLean County. The goal is to educate people about the disease and to honor those who died during the AIDS crisis.
I think the overriding theme is that we don't want people to forget. There's a lot of people alive today who weren't alive during the 80s and 90s when we lost so many people, and the breadth of loss in our community, especially among gay men, was tremendous. And it's a part of history that doesn't always get taught in our schools.
The exhibition also featured knitted and crocheted blocks put into an Afghan to commemorate the lives lost to AIDS. And a follow-up now, the Bloomington Police Department is releasing its Thanksgiving enforcement numbers. From November 21st to December 2nd, the department participated in a statewide click it or ticket and a drive sober or get pulled over campaigns. BPD reporting 24 speeding citations, 1 citation for electronic device use, and 29 other traffic citations, along with 1 arrest. And a consumer alert now, a new chain coffee shop with hundreds of locations around the country is opening the first location for the state in Bloomington. Dutch Bros will be opening its new location on IAA Drive in the heart of many of the businesses in the city. They've already demolished the old Bandanas Barbecue building, which is where Dutch Bros is headed. But why pick Bloomington as the first location in Illinois? The city manager says the building will be in the Empire Corridor, where the city has seen a lot of success with new business. He also says the developer finds the city of Bloomington easy to work with.
I think anytime when we're adding new development like this, new commercial businesses, especially a business that is just now coming into the state of Illinois, I think it's really exciting. And I think for a national company like this to take notice on the city of Bloomington and say, we want to have a presence there, that speaks to everything.
Juergens also says more business could be coming to Bloomington. There's already plans for a new chain that will open right next door to Dutch Bros, but the business has yet to be announced. There's also no official opening date set for Dutch Bros. We'll take a look at this. Downtown Pekin shining bright with holiday spirit on Friday. The City of Pekin Tourism Committee collaborated with the city's Chamber of Commerce and other local businesses to host the 24th annual Christmas on Court. The beloved tradition transformed the busy Court Street into a winter wonderland filled with music and laughter. Residents enjoyed a special tree lighting, a visit from Santa, and live entertainment. Amy McCoy, the executive director of the Pekin Area Chamber of Commerce, says that this is a chance for businesses to come together.
Each of the stores is offering some sort of treat or special. So there's cookies and snacks, hot chocolate. There's a hot chocolate contest. The courthouse is open from 5 to 7 with a children's gingerbread house contest. The children will just enjoy being a part of the celebration. There's just so much for everyone.
Christmas on Court ran from 4 to 8 p.m. in downtown Pekin. Well, new tonight, families in Peoria will soon have a new indoor playground to enjoy. The city's first safari-themed indoor playground, Kids and Play, is scheduled to open in Peoria next spring. It will go into an old Titan Fitness Center that's located on North University Street. The owner of the business says the playground will be separated into 3 zones that will be dedicated to different age groups. Now, each will combine different jungle gym equipment and interactive games. Now to a story making us Central Illinois proud. Crittenton Centers received a big donation this morning as U.S. Cellular, which is now a part of T-Mobile, helped stock the crisis nursery with much needed supplies. The company dropped off $1,500 worth of baby formula, diapers, wipes, and clothing. Crittenton says the need is constant, especially as the holidays approach. Last year alone, they handed out more than 90,000 diapers and nearly 1,000 cans of formula. Brent Ost with Crittenton says the need is very real.
We run out of formula so often. That is a huge need for us. That's why we're so thankful for all this formula. Formula is expensive. If you have children or if you don't, formula is expensive and it's not getting cheaper. So, but the need is there. So having formula donated like that, that just helps the health of the child, the family, and helps keep them on the right track.
Crittenton Center says formula and wipes remain their most urgent need. And continuing our coverage on stories that are making us Central Illinois proud tonight, holiday cheer took over OSF Children's Hospital today as young patients and their families celebrated this year's Holiday Express. Inspired by the Polar Express, this holiday event lets children follow a map through different activity stations, collect that golden ticket, meet Santa Claus, and choose a present for themselves along with their siblings. OSF staff says that the goal is to make the hospital feel a little more like home during the holidays for kids who may have to be there for testing, procedures, or even under long-term stays. Keith Hansen with OSF says it's a great way to spread some holiday cheer.
Some of these kids are just coming here for the day for a procedure or a test, and to have this kind of like surprise as something that might be stressing them out is really nice. And then for our kids that are here, like admitted to the hospital for maybe days or weeks even, I think it kind of gives them that more feel that they're not just stuck sick in the hospital. They can kind of get out and do something, bring the holiday spirit to them, because otherwise they might feel like they're missing out on some of that holiday things.
And right next to the Holiday Express, OSF held its 25th annual Drive for Miracles Radiothon. Over the last 2.5 decades, they've raised more than $3 million for OSF Children's Hospital of Illinois to help pay for life-saving work, programming, and services. And veterans in Central Illinois are getting some extra holiday cheer this week. The 16th District American Legion Auxiliary is stuffing Christmas gift bags for local homebound and homeless veterans. It's a partnership with the Bob Michael Outpatient Clinic. Volunteers gathered this afternoon at the American Legion Post 2 in Peoria. Each Christmas bag is filled with personal care items, along with other essentials like a blanket, washcloth, razor, nail clippers, notebook and pen, calendar, and more. One volunteer says it's all to make the season a little brighter for our local veterans.
We do it because they put their life on the line for us as members of the community, of our nation, and each one of us had a veteran in our lives that did put their lives on the line. The auxiliary is here to help comfort, take care of our veterans in a time when other people may forget them.
120 Christmas bags will be delivered next week to veterans at the Bob Michael Veterans Clinic in Peoria. Well, you have 2 weeks left to nominate a person you know to win the title of Remarkable Woman. And if your nominee becomes one of the 125 extraordinary women selected as an overall finalist, she will then be treated to a celebration in Nashville. So head to our website, ciproud.com, and nominate someone you know today before December 19th. And now let's check in with our chief meteorologist, Chris Yates, for a quick look at our forecast. Chris.
Rebecca, it's been a pretty quiet evening. It'll be a quiet start to the weekend, but we've got another system on the way. Future track does show clouds continuing to increase as we head through tonight. The increasing clouds and winds being light, I think our temperatures are going to actually warm up a little bit late tonight. But here comes that next system pushing in from the west. It is expected to spread snow across central Illinois tomorrow night, though the heaviest accumulations will likely stay just to our north. 24 degrees for a morning temperature at 8 o'clock in the morning. Temperatures will bounce back into the upper 20s around noon. We'll have temps more or less holding in the mid to upper 20s throughout the day. Snow will be pushing in as we head into tomorrow evening. We will have that full forecast and more coming up in just a few minutes.
The Storm Tracker Camera Network is sponsored by the Uftring Auto Group. If we wouldn't sell it to our family, we wouldn't sell it to you.
Now, your local Weather Authority forecast with Chief Meteorologist Chris Yates.
Well, it's been a pretty quiet end to the work week. We had a little bit of sunshine. We've got more clouds pushing in, and we are going to continue to see clouds increasing as we head through tonight. Meanwhile, another system is passing to our north, bringing some snow showers to Wisconsin and a little bit of freezing drizzle as you get into northern parts of Illinois. The system we are watching, though, is emerging from the northern Rockies, bringing some snow to the mountains, and that'll continue to drop its way across the northern plains over the next 24 hours before taking aim on at least the northern half of Illinois getting into tomorrow. Not much until that system arrives, just a little bit of cloud cover. You can see that Clipper system really starting to wrap up there as it moves into Iowa. And that's where this system is going to be its strongest. They're expecting several inches of snow across central Iowa out of this. In fact, Areas near Des Moines and north are dealing with winter storm warnings as they are set to get another heavy dosing of snow. It's not going to be nearly that heavy once the system gets into our local area. So going through the rest of tonight, cloud cover continues to increase. I wouldn't be surprised if our temperatures actually warm up a little bit with that extra cloud cover pushing in. Lows generally low to mid-20s early in the evening and then starting to warm up. Highs tomorrow, once we kind of get through the day with overcast skies, they're not going to move around a whole lot. 4 or 5 degrees at best, with highs likely peaking into the 30s. And again, we're going to stay dry throughout the day. Some upper 20s are also expected basically north of a Galesburg to Pontiac line. All right, let's talk snow. Here's the next system pushing in. This is going to be much less, especially compared to the first system we had. It'll likely be less than the second system that came on through just about a week ago. So here's Future Track. We're going to fast forward this as we get into Saturday night. Yeah, snow starts to spread across the region. Now, one thing that has changed over the last the last 24 hours is that rain snow line has been creeping up north because we've got a little bit more of a northern storm track. So this is going to bring in a greater chance of a wintry mix, basically south of a Canton to Bloomington line. Meanwhile, areas up north along Interstate 80 will stay exclusively snow out of this. So that's where we're going to see some of those higher end totals. And then we'll kind of finish it off with some scattered light snow showers Sunday morning. Again, not a big system here. We're not talking several inches of accumulation. For most of us, it's going to be a 1 to 3 inch event, and with higher amounts generally focused up along Interstate 80. The area we're going to be watching for a sharp cutoff, again, it's that Canton to Bloomington line southward. We're going to see a sharp reduction in totals over a very short distance. So less than 2 inches for Bloomington normal, less than 2 inches in Canton. We could very much wake up to a scenario on Sunday where you may have a dusting of snow in southern Tazewell County, but an inch or two up north near Washington, and then the amounts will continue to get a little bit heavier as you head further north. All right, let's talk the cold air coming in. Once this system moves out, Sunday afternoon, we've got mostly clear skies across central, or mostly clear skies north of 74 as the system moves out, and then skies will have a tendency to clear a bit more heading into Monday morning. We've got some very cold air coming in on the back end of this. This Clipper system is going to tap in to some of that Arctic air that'll be kind of just sitting to the north. So low temperatures Monday morning, in all likelihood, will be dropping back down into the single digits, at least for a brief period of time. But the weather pattern remains active. More Clipper systems are on the way through next week. The next one to push in is set to arrive Tuesday into Wednesday. That one's tracking north and should be warm enough to produce mostly rain. But on Wednesday, we could begin to see temperatures drop enough to bring back to a transition of snow. And then a third Clipper system arrives Thursday night. That one looking to be more of a snowmaker for central Illinois. So the forecast remains active. Our temperatures are all over the place with lows as low as 5 degrees Sunday night and highs as high as 37 by Tuesday afternoon.
You're watching WYZZ News at 9.
Welcome back. An Illinois lawmaker is reintroducing a failed bill to provide more protections for undocumented students. This comes as heightened immigration enforcement operations continue in the Chicago area. Illinois Senator Dick Durbin is bringing back his DREAM Act. The bill was first introduced in 2001. It grants conditional residency to undocumented individuals who were brought into the country as children, which are sometimes called dreamers. While it's gotten bipartisan support over the years, it's never been enough to pass the bill. But Durbin believes the atmosphere around immigration enforcement will give his bill the push it needs to get over the finish line. He says recent arrests of undocumented workers have lawmakers on both sides of the aisle concerned and looking for change.
This moment in the history of our nation is a terrible, challenging moment for so many people, not just the dreamers, but immigrants in general. I think there is hope. The DREAM Act is a key step toward true, positive, bipartisan change. We must never stop fighting for these good immigrant families and their children who bring so much to this country.
Durbin has failed for 24 years to get the DREAM Act passed. Senate Republicans have long argued that there is already a process for legal immigration, and lawmakers need to make sure that process is enforced before any reforms are made. Well, after much debate, a CDC Vaccine Advisory Committee voted to change a decades-long vaccine recommendation for newborns. Fox News senior correspondent Rich Edson has the details from Washington.
8 votes yes and 3 votes no. The motion passes. A federal vaccine advisory committee voted Friday to end the long-standing recommendation that all newborns in the United States receive the hepatitis B vaccine on the day they're born. Those in favor of the rollback argue there's been too little testing of the vaccine. They say babies should only be exposed to it at birth if their mother tests positive for hepatitis B.
If the mom is Hep B negative, which is the vast majority of women who deliver babies in the United States today, and they want to delay it until the kid is 8 or 10 or 12, let's be honest, hepatitis B is a sexually transmitted and bloodborne pathogen. So doctors have moved to a nuanced approach.
Meanwhile, vaccine proponents say routine shots help ensure all children born in the U.S. have lifelong protection.
We've heard do no harm is a moral imperative. We are doing harm by changing this wording, and I vote no.
Hepatitis B is a serious liver infection. It's spread through contact with bodily fluids, and mothers can pass it to their children. While some cases can resolve in just weeks, children are more prone to developing lifelong health issues, like liver failure, if they are infected.
I don't like the fact that 90% of newborns that get it have a problem because of it. I don't like this disease. It's preventable.
The committee now recommends the hepatitis B vaccine series only after a child is at least 2 months old. In Washington, Rich Edson, Fox News.
All right, here's a final check at our forecast as we go through tonight. Temperatures into the low to mid-20s under a mostly cloudy sky. Temps will top out near 30 tomorrow. Again, staying a bit on the cloudier side, and it'll be slow warm or holding fairly steady for the most part. All right, snow showers looking likely Saturday night through early Sunday morning. 1 to 3 inches of accumulation around Peoria, a little less in Bloomington. And then as we go through the start of next week, it'll be cold, especially Monday morning. But temps will manage to climb back into the 30s by the middle of the week, at which point we've got more opportunities for rain and snow Wednesday and Thursday.
All right, Chris. Sounds like it's coming our way, whether we're ready for it or not. So best to be weather aware and be prepared.
That's right.
All right. Well, thanks for joining us here and staying up with us. We hope you have a great rest of your evening and a good weekend.
Breaking news and weather updates 24/7. Log on to CIProud.com and download the free CI Proud to Go mobile app.